right, it's a chilly night around here. Declaration B5 brush in the Rubberset 400 handle. Kind of been restored by someone, and then I picked it up from them. I like to use the cup to wet my Badger brushes. Today's blade is a fairly young one. Gillette Silver Blue, and this will be the 7th use. It's a very good blade for me in just about any one of my razors. If I had to just grab one blade and be stuck with it, this would probably be the one. All right. It'll be easy to stick him in this twist open. This is a Superspeed. And if you know your Superspeeds, then you'll know that this is a Gillette TV Special. And this one's from 58. And the reason it's so easy to identify is the pattern here is a long one, vertically moving along the lines of the handle. The ones in the normal Superspeed series are more horizontal in their nature. So this one's new to me. It's a nice little piece. It's a little bit more rare than your standard Superspeed. It's got a nice feel to it. I like the balance and the weight right now. And the great thing is, it just doesn't cost very much, and I'm pretty sure it's going to give me a very good shave. You know, $15, $20 is all these guys cost, and it can be a lifetime razor. So that's all loaded up. The soap for today is a one from Mickey Lee Soapworks. I have not been able to use any of those soaps in a little while. It just hasn't really come up. They don't quite have as many soaps in the rotation that I really enjoy. Unforgiven is my big favorite from them, but a lot of theirs tend to be more floral and feminine and stuff. And I mean, in a sense, it's kind of to be expected. It's a lady who owns the company and does all the work. Today is Pantie Dropper. It was it was limited for a while there, but I just checked the website now to give you a description on it, and it looks like they brought it back, which is cool. So if you like this, you can go to the website and get it. It is a clone. This one's used. My first time trying it today. And it is a clone of, or based on, Drakkar Noir. So that's what. Fragrance isn't too strong. So that's what we're looking at today. All right. Splash my face. All right, we're ready to go. So the brush hasn't been soaking for too long. Just a couple minutes. I'm going to shake most of the water out of it. It's kind of got a small knot because that's the way the Declaration likes to do their lofts. We're about to hit the 30-second mark. We'll just load for 20 seconds here and go. Because Mickey Lee's a good soap. It's not quite top tier, but it's a good soap. And there we go. All right. So I am going to now rinse the side part off the tub. Set that aside. Who knows? This could be Kraken. I think I like Kraken from Mickey Lee as well. So Unforgiven, Kraken, and I really like Unforgiven. That's a big win. I love that one. And so maybe this is one that I can enjoy from them. I like to try to represent a lot of the represent meaning have some of their work represented in my stuff. All soap makers, or at least the big ones. Mickey Lee is highly regarded in the community for good quality. It's not top tier like Barrister and Man, Holy Cow, Declaration, Grooming, you know, those guys, but still good. And we've got, yeah, it's releasing some nice scent. I'm picking it up even from having it below my face. And just a little bit of stirring with only the water that was in the brush has got me to that point. So now I think we're ready. I have done some tests, and Mickey Lee doesn't quite hold as much water as, you know, some of them. But I'll use my normal methods for noticing how much water is in the soap. Yeah, that's a good scent. I like that. I never wore this. I was definitely a child of that era. I never wore this particular cologne. So I just kind of like it independently of memories. You know, some of the scents I have are associated with memories, but not in this case. Usually when I can smell it nicely as I'm mixing up the lather, if I can smell it from here, it's a good sign that it's going to be a strength that I'm, you know, happy with. All right, well, it looks like we've got enough volume here to, you know, to do what we need to do. Let's just do a finger check. Don't want to go too thin with it. Feeling pretty good. Just start to feel that I've got ridges on my fingertips. A little bit of cushion. I'm happy with that. That's nice. Let's just go ahead and stop. Don't have a lot of volume. Often I do end up with more volume than that. However, this could be just the right amount instead of 2 extra passes like I often end up with. All right, splash a little water. There we go. We'll see how Mickey Lee does. I have not used it in a brush like this before. I have not used with such a firm, high backbone brush. So we'll see how that goes. One day's worth of growth is what we're looking at here. I do have hard water. We're in kind of the middle of November here, but I am in the South. I'm in North Carolina, but still, this particular winter has come in pretty harshly. It's almost like we didn't really get much of an autumn. It was hot, and then bam, it was cold. But, you know, sometimes when that happens, we end up with a sunny December or something like that. Feels good on my face. Consistency looks good. Let's just go with that and see what happens. If you're just starting out into wet shaving, a lot of times these old Superspeeds are a great way to start out because the quality is good. The manufacturing quality. Almost all of them are brass. Plated, you know, with, you know, stainless steel. And all of them are just good cutters. This one gives you a fair amount of audio feedback there. So we'll just shave with it and see what the end result is. So this one, a little bit of blade feel. You can kind of hear it. What that usually means is that the blade is not secured right near the edge of the cutting area. And that's by design. That's not like a flaw or something. That is just a convenient way to do it. It's easy for the doors that close to clamp down and hold it that way. All right, let me rinse. Got a little chill in me now, probably because I haven't eaten very much lately and did a lot of work in my office, kind of sitting there. This year we have just really kept the heater on kind of low, not keeping the house toasty warm, which is kind of cool when you're sitting on the couch watching TV. At least for me, because man, you just throw up a bunch of blankets on yourself and stay nice and warm. It's just very comforting and cozy on a cold day to do that with your family. I'm liking this scent. The scent strength seems at a good spot for my preferences. But the bad part about keeping your thermostat there is that if you're not able to stay kind of cozy up, then you start to get a chill. But if I think about it, I'll throw on a sweatshirt or something like that and that'll fix it. But just didn't do that today. It kind of snuck up on me. So I might actually use some warm water for part of my shave today, just to kind of help me out. All right, cross grain. You can hear the hairs, but it's very comfortable. It feels like it's doing a nice job cutting. I'm not in any danger of nicks. As long as I'm careful. I mean, I could probably nick myself if I, you know, let my skin bunch up in a wrinkle or something and then caught it with the bad razor angle or something. But it feels very comfortable. The lather seems on point. Nice and slick. All right. Past two's down, let me rinse. And yeah, we're gonna have plenty of lather. Looks like 20 seconds of loading with this brush is gonna give me plenty, so that's good. If you use this is a very soft tipped brush, a badger brush. If you use badgers come in all kinds of tips. Some of them are very scrubby. Some guys like that. They don't want soft. They want it to really scrub at their face. And while that's not too comfortable for your face, at least definitely not for mine, it is nice for pulling out the soap from the puck. It doesn't take as much load time because it's really digging in there. And in case you don't know, Badger brushes come in different grades. And the names are a little standardized. Third pass here. Like finest, pure. Pure is the lowest grade. It doesn't actually mean that it's pure Badger hair. I mean, it kind of does, but it's actually a special word in the shaving world, and it means a low grade of Badger hair. It will give you a shave. It's not going to be, usually not going to be as soft as a lot of other grades. Then there's after pure, there's let's see, finest, and select is another one, and I believe select is one that's above finest. But here's the thing, pure and finest, those are the ones you're going to see used most often. But the thing is, you can't, and then silver tip is another one. The finest is usually a 2-band, and that's kind of like this. It has more of a thicker black section. It's got white and black, 2 bands. A silver tip is like this one. It's got a thinner black section. You can see 3 layers, white, black, white. So that's a 3-band or a silver tip. And rinse time. So we're going to do our 4th pass on the neck. And so you can compare pure versus finest as long as you stay within the maker. And so a company's, I did my cheeks by habit, a company's finest is going to be softer, perform a little better than their pure Badger brushes. I'm liking the scent, nice strength here, performance is nice. But here's the thing, you might find a company whose best Badger is actually best. See, I knew there was one that I was missing out. Pure, best, finest. That's how it goes. And there are going to be companies whose best is actually just as good as maybe another company's finest. And so you can't compare them across companies. That's the main point I was going to get to, because it's hard to compare them that way. You actually have to do research instead of just relying on that terminology. You have to look at reviews and what people are saying about that particular brush. Like Company A's best Badger is just as good as Company B's finest Badger. You know, that might be words that are said. All right, I'm gonna do a little inspection on my neck. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, I could do another half pass, just a little touch up in this. Oh, you know, why don't we do that? We've got the lather. Let's just see if this little razor will take care of. There's several hairs there that kind of escape cutting. I wasn't really too careful about my technique. Just being casual and just enjoying the shave. Yesterday I shaved with a much more expensive razor than $15. And when I'm walking out of the bathroom, I'm going to be walking out with pretty much the same shave. And so if you can't afford something, something nicer, don't sweat it. The little $15 razor, $20 razor, there are those out there, will give you just as good results. At least they can. Oh yeah, nice. That fixed me up really well. All right, I'm gonna rinse it away. And so I may be walking out of here with a shave result that was pretty much the same. Comfort is excellent as well. I've got no irritation, anything like that. But the comfort during the shave was definitely better with the Wolfman yesterday. And that's just because the Wolfman clamps down on that edge, more predictable, it's quieter, whereas this guy is just a little bit louder, a little bit more blade flex. And maybe you like the sound of that audio feedback, because that can sometimes tell you how it's cutting. If that's your liking, then this kind of razor is going to be great for you. And so, yeah, sure, you're paying a little bit extra money. You're getting a different type of shave. There are lower cost razors that do clamp down really well, like I think it's the 84, the .84 gap on the Razor Rock Game Changer is a pretty good razor. I've tested it a couple times so far, and I like it. And so that's one that'll help you out without costing an arm and a leg. Face feels great. So I enjoyed the strength and the scent here of this Drakkar Noir based soap. Performance was just terrific. And this is, it's not top tier, but this is just, I say it's not top tier, but here's those top tier guys, and it's just right next to it, and it's still in that category of really nice shaves. We're just fighting over nuances here. So if you have some Mickey Lee, then enjoy that, be proud of it, because it's a very good soap. I believe I dialed this guy in just perfectly this time. Slickness, really nice. Post-shave feel is pretty good. I don't feel dryness and it's shrinking or anything like that. It protected me really well. So, and I enjoyed the scent. So, do you need more than that? All right, let me go down and see what kind of post-shave I would like. All right, to stay in the family of kind of the cologne, manly cologne type things, we're going to go with Stirling Balm, Executive Man. It is I think, Aventus clone, and it's very popular from Stirling, and I like it a lot as well. This is one of the few that my wife actually likes. It doesn't have any alcohol in it, so I'm not really able to have this sting tell me about the quality of my shave. All right, very cool. So I'm going to clean up now, be back. So it turned out that 20-second was about perfect. I could probably lessen it a little if I wanted, maybe 15-second load. And the reason I started talking about the diggy bristles and that sort of thing, and I believe I said this, was if you've got a really scrubby brush, whether it's a boar or a badger, and that can take less time to load than something with soft bristles. And so then maybe you would adjust your time, shorten it a little bit if that's the kind of brush you have. If you have a really poofy brush that kind of lays around a lot, then maybe you'd increase your time, or that's usually often the kind of brush that I use, because I just enjoy that. I associate that with luxury, and it feels great on my face. And that is the kind of shave that this 3-band will deliver. This one's from the Golden Nib, and it's their Silver Tip Premium, and I'm really happy with that brush. So the water we used was just 1 syringe full, which is 2 teaspoons. So 20-second load, 2 teaspoons, and that gave me this much extra after 3.5 passes and a touch-up. So that's almost what I like to have left over. And maybe a little bit more. In case I mess up, then there's some margin right there. Some people actually will take the leftover lather, just kind of coat it on their face at the end of the shave and not shave it off, just rinse it off. And just because a lot of our soaps these days have wonderful butters and oils and skin healthy items that can really benefit you. I don't really do that. So we talked a little bit about brushes today. I mentioned some of the standard names of the grades of hair quality. That usually will also tell you where on the Badger they got those hairs, but some makers will name and give different names because it's not standardized. And so they'll just give different names about their grades of hair. And so be prepared for that as well. And so one company, might call it the Grand Badger hair. And so then you just have to do some research and maybe find some forums online, see what that equates to if you're going to compare them across different makers. Is the Grand Badger hair, and it's an imaginary word, is the Grand Badger hair, good? And some people will usually respond like in this case, this is Declaration Grooming's Badger knot, and this is a B5 knot. And that means like batch number 5, I think is kind of what the B stands for. It's not really the grade of hair. It's just all the B5s will have certain traits, and the B3s have certain traits. I grabbed a B5 because that's one of the ones with the least amount of backbone. That means these guys have the most flex of a lot of the other brushes that he has. And so that's why I gravitated toward this one. It's not saying that's the type of hair, it's just that say those are the traits of that particular batch that he got. And he doesn't really use, I don't even know if he uses the word finest with his, but I believe that's kind of what it is. It's a 2-band, like we've been illustrating. And so some makers will just use kind of different terminology for their hairs, and so you just kind of have to do your research. In many cases, you can't come blindly into it and instantly know whether it's got a lot of backbone. Now these tips are crazy soft, but that's the kind of thing you just have to learn through research. And these tips are actually a little bit softer than most silver tip tips. It's just that they have more backbone behind them, whereas these tips right here are not as soft as these. These are not as soft. However, there's a lot more flex, less backbone, and so it still feels wonderful, poofy, and soft. All right, so there's our brush education for today. And that executive man is playing very nicely with the Pantie Dropper. Stirling, I believe, also has Stirling Noir, I believe, and who knows, that could be their inspired version from Drakkar Noir as well. So they may have their own version of that. I mentioned how much we use 2 teaspoons of soap on this batch. I already said that. So I think this Superspeed is set, this TV special, and it's probably set at the same with the same geometry as the standard Superspeed flare tip. Call it a flare tip because this tip flares out a little bit. Probably set about the same geometry, which is a nice little sweet spot between comfort. That was a very comfortable shave, very smooth, no any problems at all, and then also efficient cutting. And I got nice, even without going against the grain, I got a nice flush cut in many areas of my trouble spot, and definitely in other places of my face. 95% baby butt smooth on my cheeks without going against the grain. So I think they set this at a pretty good place. I think it's going to appeal, and it has appealed over the years to a lot of people. I think it'd be a great starter razor, teach you good technique. It is one of those that will help you to not press hard, not press too hard, keep it light, only light enough to just keep that razor blade touching the skin. And I've already taken out the razor blade, so I can do that. All right, so I think that's where this guy is. The standard Gap Wolfman that I used yesterday was much smoother than this razor, but I think it's set at a little less of an aggression level, while it ended up to be just as efficient. And so that's kind of where we can put this. If I were to say, where does this belong on a Gillette scale of a fat boy or a slim that's an adjustable from 1 to 9, I'd probably put this at about a 4. Yeah, I think about a 4. Maybe a 5, but a 4 is probably where I'd put it. And that may be their intention, because that's very near the middle of the road with the range for that series. So there you go. And nice little vertical. My first time using this one. Just got it in from eBay, and it's a great little piece to pick up. Now, sometimes the gaps, eBay is a little risky. Sometimes the gap might be not quite exactly right, so it's good to look and try to gauge any kind of damage that might be on there. If you're a beginner, don't buy anything off eBay for several months, because it's so easy to get taken, so easy to think that you're getting a deal and you're not, because some of the razors just don't have, I mean, there are deals out there, you just have to know what they are. I just saw something on eBay for $40, and it's very easy to get for $7, and that's just what can happen. So stay off eBay for a while till you learn. All right, there we go. This is a great shave. My face feels wonderful. Let's go to sleep. Time to hit the sack. This has been Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.